My name is Andrea Oñate-Madrazo. I am assistant professor of history at Cal Poly. Born in Mexico City, and I currently live in San Luis Obispo, California. So my father is a lawyer and an academic, but he went into the political sphere and became a diplomat. So because of his job as a diplomat, we moved around quite a bit. Most of my classmates were Mexican. There were no foreigners in the private school that I went to. So my first contact really with people from abroad was when I left Mexico City at the age of 6 to move to DC. Then we went back to Mexico, and then when I was 13 we moved to Europe, and I spent most of my life since then abroad, with the exception of 2 years after college where I went back to work in Mexico. And so when I finished college and went back to Mexico, I wanted to be a human rights lawyer, thinking that I was repatriating and that I would make a life for myself there. And there were a number of factors that made me very disillusioned, or made me realize that that had been kind of a dream that didn't materialize. I was able to get into a very good law school after taking qualifying exams. But in Mexico, you start law school at 18. That's your college career. And so I was admitted, but none of my credits were taken. They said they couldn't be sure that NYU was an accredited institution, although it's a pretty well-known institution. And all of my classmates were 18 years old. I, at that point, was 23, had already been in college, had already been living on my own for 4 years. But most importantly, I think the social aspect I would have been able to deal with if I had felt academically challenged. I really felt like I was wasting my time, I wasn't learning, I was wasting money to be in school. And even a number of my professors said, "What are you doing here? You should be in grad school, you clearly don't belong." I realized upon coming to Mexico that I felt more like a foreigner there than I did in the United States. And that's because I had really left Mexico at a pretty early age, and I think most of my development as an individual, as a woman, as an intellectual happened once I had left Mexico. I realized that that wasn't the place where I felt most at home, and I love going back. It's still a big part of me. I am Mexican, I always will be, but I don't aspire to go back to live there.